Let's be real. If you've been in the creative industry for 10, 20 years, I'm sure you probably learned to show up no matter how empty you feel inside. Here's the truth no one talks about. What actually happens when you feel your drive is just running low, you're so emotionally exhausted to the brim, working on ideas just seems so far fetched, and your soul is trying to tell you that, hey, is this burnout? Or is this what happens when your emotions go unspoken for far too long? This ain't just about exhaustion. It's what emotional suppression does. It affects your art, the way how you work with others, and your very sense of self, man. So today I'm going to walk you through on the six signs of how emotional suppression looks like for seasoned artists, where it stems from, and how it quietly shapes your journey as an artist and the steps to embrace it. I'm Charles. I'm emotional strategy coach for public facing artists currently navigating through emotional exhaustion, mid-career burnout, identity shift, or heavy life transition. So I help you to regain your confidence, resilience, build emotional mastery, gain clarity of mind, and most importantly, lean towards a sustainable path that is aligned with your intuition and what you truly stand for. Okay. So why this is very, very important is, whether you are a dancer, singer, musician, visual artist, there come a point where you're not just tired because of your workload. You are exhausted because of the amount of unspoken grief that you've been carrying all along, the suppressed anger, confusion, your shame for all of those years, and continuously your sensitivity has been used against you. And you truly, truly believe them because this is how, you survived. It was your survival strategy, basically. I've lived through this. It got so bad to a point because I've been through like really, really tragic funerals all my life. And there was one worse. It was an accident, really, really bad one. I couldn't even shed a tear because I was always been um, molded to not even express myself there. But I have to like hold other people, right? So I had to be a robot and also dissociate, and you know, it was pretty scary because yeah, I lost a lot of my senses. An artist told me recently that why has she still been feeling very, very exhausted despite taking breaks? Like she knows that she's in the brink of burnout, so she took away her time from her art projects. But she's still feeling incredibly tired while she was resting. These are like the signals that your body is trying to purge out all of the years of emotional suppression. So it comes during this period of rest time. Yeah, it's you trying to shift away from being in survival mode. So that's when your body starts to rest and realize that, okay, I'm feeling safe right now. Now is the time where your nervous system is ready to process all of that. And then that's when all the emotions start to rise and you're like, then you feel overwhelmed, and then yeah. Okay, but anyways, I'm going to jump into the science. Okay, here are the six signs of emotional suppression and how it shows up in your day-to-day as an artist. So number one is you can't rest even though you try. Every time your nervous system is so used to being on, and just a little ounce of stillness makes you feel like I need to straight away jump onto the next task. And this kind of habit makes you very prone to burnout. This was mostly how used to operate all the time. And second is your creative ideas start to feel scattered because in this moment of uh, it shows up as being blocked, being overwhelmed, and yeah, feeling numb. As I mentioned in earlier part of the video, that when your body is craving for you to just express and purge out those feelings, right? But because you're so used to suppressing, that's why it causes stagnation. I've experienced the depth of like depression and anxiety, which all resulted in multiple suicidal attempts many years back. But I feel Stagnation is equally detrimental as well. For me, it took away so many years. And I think only just probably last year that I actually awoken to the fact that I was in stagnation. Like, being aware itself is like a huge deal. So, yeah, I hope that you are aware of this. Thirdly, is you overextend during collaboration. So, you don't speak up, you give away too much of your energy, you tolerate disrespect just to seem nice or to avoid conflict. Fourth is you normalize self soothing using unhealthy habits. It could be food, could be alcohol, substances, or toxic connections just to fill in that void, right? Fifth is you lost pride in your own expression. You're performing, but it just doesn't really feels very connected to who you truly are or the artistic identity that you aspire to be. Six is you indirectly ignore your intuition. So, because you don't trust your decisions when you're relying on your intuitions, right? So of course it's actualized through your decision making. So if you don't trust that, your self trust is really lacking, and because you've been feeling very numb for a long period of time. You've you've been relying mostly on pragmatic approach, black and white. But when that black and white already becomes rotten, it's like your pain receptors isn't working when you're being injured. So you can't even sense that you've been bleeding all the time. So where all this comes? It all stems from the years of always just being the strong one, having no one to hold you for your emotions. Second, is you're always being praised for your resilience, but then never witnessing when you are in the state of needing help, when you're in pain. These are the fucking confusing nature in the mental health landscape for artists, right? Because you're constantly being told to always be this particular way, right? You gotta consistently show up, you gotta, wear a mask, constantly perform, be the perfect one, right? And at the same time, people do advocate for mental health and all that. But when you express yourself in asking for help, trying to be vulnerable, then that's when the condescending shit show start to like show up. So I think it's very fucked up. Third is why it stems from is you're trying to be palatable for your audiences, your clients, if you have your team, your managers, and if you are with labels, there's a lot of boxes that you need to fill in and read between the lines and all that. There's just so much on your shoulders, man. And lastly is, yeah, basically you don't have a safe space for you to break down because you worry that it'll cost you your place in the industry. Sometimes you really feel that way, like it costs you a lot for you to risk being vulnerable. I've seen that. I've seen that in some really, really spectacular artists where they're still really holding up. They're rising. They're really rising. But I know just behind the scenes that there's just so much of fucking snakes around them, full of lies and basically draining their energy. So all I can just do is pray because some of them that don't really plan to be in tune, but that's out of my control. Anyways, so people who get drawn into Musesurrection, they do want to help themselves and love themselves. So I hope you love yourself too, to ensure that you deserve this safe space for you, man. Okay, and the kindness that you fucking need. All of these actually has an impact the way how you collaborate as an artist. So when your emotions are shut down, so is your which means you agree to things that aren't aligned with you. Which means that when you're not grounded, your boundaries aren't that strong. So you tend to be more drained, reactive. Why? Because you tend to be in partnerships where your 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 needs aren't met, get overused, your ideas get stolen. So basically, your energy just keeps getting drained very easily. When you don't speak up, your creative vision gets diluted. So you end up in projects or performance that doesn't really reflect the true essence of yourself. And you also avoid rest, then you go back into the spiral mode. That drive of being very ambitious all the time sometimes is a mask of anxiety and being in survival mode. All of this doesn't just affect you, it affects the longevity of your career and your creative sustenance. So here's what you can do to secure your sustenance. So number one is acknowledge that this is actually happening. Remember, this is not a discipline issue, all right? So you don't go and beat yourself up. It's emotional weight, okay? Second is start honoring your intuition. Is there any truth that you have been suppressing recently? During those rest period or in between your work, your inner thoughts, that voice that has been repeatedly coming up. Like for me, when I used to be an extreme workaholic, my burnouts are like fucking crazy, and I used to consistently drown myself with a lot of work, and that voice, basically my intuition, just get drowned. Yeah, so and I keep drowning and drowning. So yeah, until recently I started to heal and then calm down and all that. But yeah, next is you got to draw a line between I got to perform and wear a mask to seem perfect versus I'm aligned. Recently, one of independent artists shared with me that he was considering to sign a deal, and he was really positive in terms of the monetary benefits he will be getting, so as the visibility aspects. However, something in him just told that the deal is a bit off, right? Just because it pays you doesn't mean that it's aligned with you, so that's why, again, listen to your intuition. It knows whether a project or perhaps your collaboration, something isn't aligned, so lean towards that. By the way, I'll be making a video on this, on how to identify um, a healthy contract. This is focusing on those of you in the music industry. So yes, next is, so number 4 is cancel what drains you right now. You don't wait until you see so many patterns and then until it impacts your mental health or your physical health. No, no, no. If you already feel that it's already draining you, like, bro, just fucking cancel it, man. You need to protect your energy, okay? Yeah, lastly is get witness. What I mean is, you don't need fixing, so you need reflection and recalibration. Well, that's where I come in. So if you resonated with hopefully most of the points in this video, well, that's great, because this is exactly what I help artists with. So I coach visual artist, dancer, singer, musician, and songwriter to overcome the emotional challenges that's happening behind the scenes, right? So you can come on the other side with more clarity, power, and peace. So while you're focusing on creating your art, doing the best, at the same time you are sustaining yourself well. Okay, so it's all about artist sustenance. So that's why my one-to-one coaching is called the Artist Sustenance Portal, right? So you can check the link in my description or link in my bio. It's a 3-month coaching program. So it's all about guiding you through the journey. It's a 3-month journey to gain emotional mastery, lean towards your intuitive leadership skills, and well, or you can just DM me on Instagram, Sustenance. You can get a 90 minutes free emotional reset session. Basically, it's a safe space for you to unravel any challenges that you're currently facing, and you want to gain some clarity. And basically, I'm here to hold your hands and to develop an action plan forward. Yeah, this is all free, by the way. However, if you want help like right now, I do have a toolkit which is just a chunk of the portal, so it's also linked in the description below. All the details are there, and if you have any questions, just like holler at me on Instagram. So yeah, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it that if you have made it through
this whole video. Yeah, more to come in this and emotional emotional vulnerability series. Anyways, thank you so much. Take care.